Hey guys, Uncle Ray. Welcome to another episode of the Crypto Bellwether. I don't always tell you what you want to hear, but I tell you what you need to hear to make an informed decision. And in this video, we're going to dive into Binance BNB. Now, in my opinion, Binance is highly underrated. Now, it's not going to be that, 100x, 500x, 1000x token, but guys, if you're into putting real money into your portfolio and you want more of a conservative approach with a big upside, with a really solid risk reward, Binance is something that you ought to have in your portfolio. I mean, one way of the many ways to look at Binance is, if nothing else, it's just a hedge against like the United States regulation and the SEC. Now, this is not financial advice, but I want to dive into it and bring Binance to your attention because they have so much going on. I mean, literally, guys, in my opinion, outside of the ecosystem of Ethereum, nothing else has this much going on. And there's a lot of great layer ones and stuff out there, but this thing is really setting itself up for longevity and to, really be something that anyone that stacks during this bear market that wants to hold for 5, 10, who knows, years, this is something everyone, in my opinion, should look at. Again, not financial advice, but let's get into it. Now, the first thing that got my attention and which made me want to make this video is that they just got the news that they are going to have their first CBDC set on top of their blockchain. Most people didn't even know they were trying to get into the banking sector. Now, I'm guessing that they are or will be ISO 222 compliant for whatever that's worth. But that's really, really positive news. Now, that's not the biggest country in the world, but it is a corridor for Asia. And a lot of times when you see one country do something, there's another one that follows. And quite frankly, I didn't realize Binance was even in the game as a contender trying to bring CBDCs onto their ecosystem, but it's good to see. Now, this is obviously exciting news for everybody. Binance is partnered basically with their money, 500 million, to help Elon, buy and change everything about Twitter. Now, I don't know how that's going to play out, but guys, that is one of the most exciting things for me in probably the last 10 years. Because if there's one thing that I had to say that really triggers me all the time is cancel culture. Just the fact that I said that, makes me concerned that, YouTube doesn't like it. And I do not like having to watch what I say. And, cancel culture is killing this country, in my opinion. And Twitter is the first line of defense to change that. Because, guys, I don't care if I agree with you or disagree with you or vice versa. We all have a right to say what we want. And if you want someone to be ignorant, well, don't let them hear the other side. That thing, hey, we got to get rid of misinformation. Well, the people that want that policy are the one sending out the misinformation. Quite frankly, guys, I don't care if you're right or wrong. Give me both sides of the stories and I will figure it out. Now, not to get on that rant, but guys, this is exciting news. Now, on the marketing side, I don't know how that's going to transpire, but think about it. If you own 500 million on that deal, they're probably going to have an avenue to onboard people from Twitter. Guys, I think this is a great, great play for Binance. I mean, Binance is putting their fingers in all kinds of stuff in a bear market, guys. That's what you want to see. Now, what else they got? This, I think, is very big news. Ironically, I just did a video about data with it was with the graph, and I'll leave a link down below if you want to check out that video. But the graph is a power player to basically organize the data that's on all these ecosystems. And when they have interoperability, the data gets all over the place, scattered. But if you think about a corporation, it's a big deal to bring your Web3, right, your basic old school data onto the blockchain. But once it's on there, all that data needs to be, accumulated and gathered so you can take it back off the blockchain to, study it and see, get all that information. And that's what the graph does. But if I'm reading this right, this new Oracle that's on Binance is basically doing that to help out in the future of Web3. And that could be explosive for the ecosystem, because if it's anything like what the graph does, there's a huge demand for that, because everyone pretty much has to have it. So I think that is a very, very good thing to see. I'm telling you guys, Binance has it all. They've got cross crypto payments. Now, it's not set up with the banks like what we think, but like if you want to send people money all around the world, they got you covered. Guys, in my opinion, a lot of people just look at Binance as an exchange, but it is a layer one, and it has a massive ecosystem that not only is it growing by people building on top of it, they have backed over 200 projects thus far, and they're buying stuff all over the world, just like partnering with Elon and Twitter. Guys, that's a massive place, and we're in a recession. Now, their launch pad arguably might be the #1 launch pad in the world. Now, in my opinion, I don't want to talk negative about it, there are some very suspect deals that might be launched. However, they do have an area that you can go in and research, and they give you an educated guess if it has some of the scam properties in the code. And that's part of what Binance created. But for instance, if you're Steppen was one of the biggest ICOs probably of the year. I don't know, totally where it sits, but it was very, very big and did really well. I haven't checked it for a while, but that was launched on Binance, and they have a lot of ICOs. Hopefully, that when we do get regulation, that's not going to go away for the average person. I have a feeling, though, it's going to be for accredited investors in the future. I hope I'm wrong about that. But here's the cool thing about Binance. If you buy Binance token, and depending on how much you have and whether it's staked or not, you get in an auction and they give you a certain percentage. And there are no guarantees, but guys, you want every single ICO that they will give you for the most part. Now, that's not financial advice, but you talk about high risk reward, man, those ICOs rock, especially in a bull market. Now, when I talk about they're getting their fingers in everything, look at this. Binance considering institutional partnership with Indonesian PT Bank, right? Now, check this one out. Binance CEO says firm is looking into buying banks and payment processors in Brazil. So think about it. Brazil, too, guys, whether you realize it or not, it's kind of like India. Because of the volume of people and the natural resources, if Brazil can, and India, if they can ever get any money behind them, they're set up to be world leaders. They're not there yet, but their intelligence and their governments are getting everything about those two countries are getting better. And ironically, I just read something this morning about talking about Bitcoin and crypto in Brazil. I know this is not really relevant to this, but think about this. They said that it was like 72% of all the corporations in Brazil I think there was 12,000 corporations, not people, have Bitcoin on their books, like what Michael Saylor did. They have Bitcoin or crypto on their books. Guys, that is the future. Bitcoin adoption is exploding, and Brazil is a place to be. So again, if Binance is starting to buy banks and doing payments in Brazil, it's another great move. Now, let's look at the chart, because most people don't realize just how young this project is. But you look, basically, uh, nothing really, it's very young, but it never kicked off until like February of last year. Now, that chart's just as ugly, almost is a lot, but look at it, guys. They're only down like, 60%. Some of these tokens are down 98% and stuff, and it's trying to bottom. Now, do I think it's time to buy Binance? Personally, no. I think we have a huge downside coming. Something's going to break internationally and in America. Now, we may keep pumping for the next couple of weeks, but I truly believe the bottom's in short term until something breaks, and something's going to break. Now, if you like to just get information and my opinion on stuff, I did a video that I'll leave down in the description below. I did a video where it talked about the election, the midterm election pump. And guys, not to brag, but it looks like I nailed it. We are right on track for everything to happen that I said. Now, I don't know if I'm going to be right all the way through it, but I gave a reason why that crypto had found a bottom until something breaks because of the election. And guys, my take is always different than most people. I always follow the smart money and the power and how the entities that make the world go around. You got to look at those first, guys. You know, if unfortunately everything's political, so you got to study what's going on in the White House. You got to study, the World Economic Forum. You got to study what goes on behind closed doors. Even though we don't know, we can put those pieces together of who was back there talking to who, what the governments are doing. That is more, or probably at least as important than anything, guys. Just as important as the economy, and dang sure just as important as your charts. Because if you understand how governments work and politics, have their fingers in crypto, it can tell you a lot. And that's a really interesting video. I highly recommend you guys check it out. Anyway, guys, that's pretty much all I got about Binance. I highly recommend you go to their website, surf around, check it out. They got their fingers in everything. Like I said, they're not just an exchange, which I believe they are the biggest exchange in the world. And the cool thing about it, guys, they may not be getting the piece of the pie from America, but they are going to be, in my opinion, by far the power player for the world. Anyway, uh, and as far as risk reward, for me, again, it's crypto and this is not financial advice, but this is a lot more conservative with a really strong upside. To give you for instance, for me, if you took a majority, say 75% of a portfolio in Bitcoin and maybe 10-15% in Ethereum and maybe another 5 or 10 into Binance, and then just have one little bit, 2 or 3, whatever percent you got left to play with. On the conservative side, if there was a conservative play in crypto, I'll put that portfolio up against any stock portfolio that anyone could come up with. I have no doubt if anyone did that portfolio, and again, not financial advice, that would have the biggest upside that anyone in any investment has done over the last 50 years. Anyway, for whatever that's worth, if you haven't subscribed please do so. We're trying to grow this community and we'd love you to be part of it. So hit that notification so you don't miss anything. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section. Share this with people. And either way, hit that like button, guys. It helps us out a lot and we do appreciate it. This is not financial advice, but if you like Binance, guys, you might want to get to stacking. Take care, guys, and come back.